It's time to talk about the worst comic books of the week. We picked these out before reading them just based on our feel on how bad the comic books are going to be. And Fantastic Four Reckoning War Alpha and One-Star Squadron definitely aren't the worst comic books we've ever read. It was actually a pretty decent week for the worst of the week. Now, I'm not recommending either of these comic books, but they aren't as bad as last week.
They're definitely an improvement on last week, although One-Star Squadron... we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Marvel just had a really weird week all around. There wasn't anything great, and there weren't a lot of things that were absolutely terrible other than maybe X Lines of Wolverine. Let's talk about Fantastic Four Reckoning War Alpha. Dan Slott, Carlo Pacheco. Dan Slott has been working on this story for 15 years, according to him. I don't know that I get that feeling. This isn't a bad comic book per se, Doc. It's perfectly serviceable. But I've seen this story before. Some enormous heavyweight cosmic entity that no one's ever heard of shows up and then decides they're going to take over Earth. Kind of boring.
Yeah, it's this nothing.
While having a lot of action.
Yeah, there was a lot of action. I mean, they start the comic off by, first bringing back Nick Fury, like real Nick Fury. He's bald for whatever reason, but whatever.
Because he's not Nick Fury. He was the Watcher.
I understand that. My
That's
point
why he
is
was bald.
Yeah, well, his hair should have started growing back when he stopped being the Watcher. No, this comic wasn't bad. I mean, it started off with, first you get the Watcher and Nick Fury talking about some fucking magic space guns that Nick Fury sees these, I guess.
I love they're talking about these like super duper powerful intergalactic weapons, and you look at them, you're like, those are machine guns.
Yeah, it just looks like really not that much different than any other comic book gun. I mean, shit, I've seen fucking Cable carrying crazier shit than this.
Yeah. I've seen water guns that were more impressive looking.
It looks like he basically modeled it after a Super Soaker or a Nerf gun. Then we get some actual crazy shit. Now, this is going to be another case of nothing that happens in one comic ever fucking matters in anything else anymore because it's Marvel in the 21st century.
Well, you have to admit, right now we have Devil's Reign, we have 10 Lives and Deaths of Wolverine, and we got another event. I can't even remember. Death of Doctor Strange, all going on at the exact same time. So that's 4 events just inside the 616. If you don't count the Beyond era of Spider-Man.
And none of them are really being referenced outside of like the one-shot issues. Like they're not even, there's just no fallout from any of them. There hasn't been any fallout from anything. And then we start this one with quite possibly the biggest event that's happened in Marvel Universe, like on Marvel Earth in a while. They blow up the fucking moon. So
pretty stupid.
Yes, it's ridiculous. They want to
just so they could kill the Watchers. Like, why don't you just shoot him?
Yeah, they're trying to kill the Watcher and Nick Fury, the Unseen,
who's now a herald of the Watcher. I hate this stuff with the heralds, but that's a video for another day. It was fine when it was Silver Surfer being that Galactus had an herald, and that was it. Now there's heralds now Galactus is the herald for somebody else. Thor's the herald for Galactus. There's a fucking herald for the Watcher. There's probably a herald for fucking Pace Pot Pete next. Yeah, Frank Castle became the Ghost Rider who became a herald.
None of this shit matters. So. Okay, cool. You do something crazy like that. Hey, I mean, I read Seven Eves too, and that's what this like. He's like, oh, I watched this thing where they blew up the moon. I want to do that in a comic book. No, look. Well,
Scott Snyder did it 2 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, why the fuck not? Honestly, but no, this is look, and then you start getting into finding out this ultra secret history of why the Watchers are just Watchers. Basically, they're Watchers because they fucked up early on and started trying to kind of usher primitive civilizations along, and they gave a lot of technology and shit to this one random. It was like the fucking psilocybin or something like that. Man. Yeah, and they're just orcs. That's all they are. They're orcs. So
here's the thing, though, Doc. The Watchers, they're always like, Uratu, he's just there to watch. He's always been helping out. He's like, hey, you see that gun I put over there? Why don't you pick it up? You know what I mean?
Exactly. The Watchers have the prime directive the same way that Star Trek did, and they have it because they fucked up. And apparently it created they went to war, like these orc people ended up at war with all of the other civilizations that the Watchers had helped, and they detonated some massive weapon that was going to rip apart the entire universe. So our universe that's left is inside of some sort of protective bubble, protecting it from being destroyed by the stuff that is outside the universe.
I hate it when they do this stuff, Doc. I'm going to be honest. We're like,
so do I.
Yes, 4 millennia ago. It's like, oh, great. We're going to destroy another Jack Kirby Stan Lee creation.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Not only that, but none of it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, so has been planning this for 15 years. We just had Secret Wars a couple of years ago where they literally ripped everything apart and there were no universes left. So
that's right. They were wiping out everybody.
So all that shit should have gotten wiped out. Like literally, it should have gotten wiped out. We've had books where they're going literally outside of the universe, to the edge of the universe, and there's never been any mention of this, like basically fucking source wall around the entirety of the 616. I'm calling horse shit. Slott, your shit doesn't make sense here.
I'm calling it right now. In about 4 years, Donny Cates is going to pick this up, and he's going to be obsessed with it. Because that's exactly what happened to Scott Snyder, and that's what ruined everything he did at DC. We do have one last thing to talk about. Like I said, this isn't the worst comic. We got something worse to talk about. But what'd you think about, like, the Watcher Reed Richards?
Yeah, like, I mean, getting into, like, omnipotent, all-seeing Reed Richards, I can get behind that. Like, the question is, because that's kind of what happened to the Maker in the Ultimate Universe, and he went crazy and went evil as a result. So I'm wondering whether or not our Reed, especially considering he has a history of kind of going moderately evil, if him being all seeing to everything, if he's going to go evil. I'm curious. That is the most intriguing part of this. A bunch of orcs with fucking like universe ending guns. I don't really give a shit.
This one's perfectly whatever. I mean, I would skip it because it's Dan Slott. It's bound to get worse, especially, after reading Empire, but it ain't terrible.
No, this is not this is nowhere near as bad as some of the books that came out last week. And at least one.
This is probably the best book on Worst of the Week we've ever reviewed. Absolutely.
This is a 2-star comic.
Yeah, this is a 2-star. Let's talk about something that's definitely not a 2-star comic. One-Star Squadron from Mark Russell and Steve Lieber. I really like the movie Office Space. I like satire. I like parody. But you can't do satire or parody without humor. So Mark Russell has decided he's going to use One-Star Squadron to tell Office Space stories, but he forgot that he's not funny at all, and it's just really dry and stupid.
Yeah. This is exactly what I would expect from Mark Russell. He is quite possibly the worst writer in Marvel or in DC's offices right now. He was Dan Didio's
in there.
Nah, I think Mark Russell's worse.
T.D. Howard's in there.
I still think Mark Russell's worse.
Why Michael Bendis?
Definitely worse than Bendis. I think he's the worst writer at that company right now.
That's it. This just in. Doc says Mark Russell is the drizzling shits of comic writers, and I agree.
But so, look, nothing in this. Okay, now again, I'm hopping on this book on issue 3. I don't know what the shit's going on, other than, hey, look, they made an app to do the. Hey, Joe Glass already did this fucking comic. Yeah. Didn't Joe Glass already do this comic, like with like
I'm not
Dial?
Sure who that is.
There was some other one with. Oh no, that was. I'm thinking of Chris Sabella did that Crowded book where you could crowdfund assassinations, but all this is Dial H for Hero with an app. I already know what this book is about, and all it is really Z-list characters, and they decided to stick in Red Tornado. Well, Superman comes in there to be...
He's like the Justice League ambassador.
Yeah.
Like they have like a program. I guess, I don't know. They're endorsing it. It's something stupid.
Yeah. The whole Justice League hates the concept of, paying superheroes, yet they still endorse the company that pays their superheroes. Okay, sure, whatever. And then, but then you have to knock, Power Girl and Red Tornado down a peg. Wasn't Red Tornado just part of the Justice League when Jim Lee was drawing it, and then Ed Benes like 8-10 years ago? Red Tornado is not that shitty of a character. He is not somebody that's going to be on like he's not going to be an office manager for...
Here's the thing though, Doc, where I think this really fails. I don't think Mark Russell's ever had a real job. I don't think he's ever had to sweat when he worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he went to I think his parents were probably professors or something. That's why he thinks he's so smart. Probably went to a very nice school, went to a very good college, and has been, a professional writer while he was living with his parents. He probably is on his own now the entire time. I don't think he's ever actually worked. So him making jokes about the working class doesn't land, because I don't think he relates to the working class at all.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, he might have done some fucking retail work in college or something, and probably early on in his
You're
career.
giving me more credit than I am. I don't think that this dude delivered pizzas or anything.
But he definitely never worked in an actual office environment with some real, where they're actually making some product, or even a call center. Because that's he couldn't even figure out what the purpose of this place was. Is it a call center? Is it a dispatch service for superheroes?
It's a way to book heroes for your birthday party.
I know, but then you have one guy trying to sell cases of rat traps. So what is the purpose of this office? They don't.
Well, I think it's supposed to be funny. That's the purpose, but it's not. Because it's Mark Russell.
It's not. You in order to point out the absurdity of office, kind of dynamics and office politics and everything, you need to establish what the purpose of the office is. The dude in Office Space talking about being good with customers and losing his mind in the process is only funny because you understand that there's a sales department and an engineering department, and one doesn't talk to the customers, but the other one has to be the middleman. That's the only reason that fucking scene is funny.
Or when he basically breaks every bone in his body and he couldn't be happier.
Yes.
So now he doesn't have to work anymore.
Yes, exactly.
Best thing never happened to me. I might never walk again.
Yeah. The only reason this shit's funny is because you've established that it's a miserable place, that there's this outside force bugging them, and that everything is chaotic, and you have to juxtapose that. But you have to actually have a constant for what that office situation is in order to throw a monkey wrench in it for fun.
I think I just got hung up the fact that nothing was funny. So it did. I didn't even dig that deep into it. I was like, no, this guy I don't think he gets working people, and I don't think he gets comedy.
I definitely don't think he gets comedy. He doesn't understand how anybody in a middle management or sales or anything like that kind of position in an office would be. I'm so confused on why everybody's doing their sitting at their desk in their costumes, selling rat traps. What the fuck?
That's the joke, Doc.
Yeah, it's not.
They're just
funny.
Lackadaisical, 9-to-5 schlubs like you and I.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm retired, so I'm not doing that anymore, but I had to for a while. That's the joke. They're just like you and me.
That's the joke. No, that's not the joke, Mark. You're not funny. I was waiting to be I didn't even look at who wrote this comic until I was done. And then I saw, Mark Russell. Oh, Mark Russell. And
Now it all makes sense.
now it made sense why I literally, like, I'm sorry, but what Spider-Man, the Spider Office, is doing with the Beyond Corporation is infinitely better than what Mark Russell is trying to do in this One-Star Squadron.
Listen, Doc, I'm going to be honest with you. What I just did in the bathroom 20 minutes before we started was infinitely better than this comic book that I read.
Yeah,
and
I don't disagree. However, my point is on this, they're both telling similar stories right now. And even with the amount of shit writers that are in that spider fucking brain trust thing over there, they're still doing a significantly better job than what Mark Russell's doing. And I don't.
Hey, Jimmy swears by this guy. He says Mark Russell's one of the best writers in comics. I've not been swayed. I think Jimmy just might have bad taste.
Jimmy has terrible taste. I love the man, but he thinks Jason Aaron is good. He loves Brian Bendis. He thinks Tom King is still tolerable. I don't. Jimmy has very, very poor taste. This comic, though, was, hey, the guy decided to skip saving people that he was about to save because he was gonna get paid surge rate. Oh, look, I'm waiting for it to be like a commentary on Uber drivers.
Well, it's a commentary on capitalism, Doc.
Yeah,
I know that capitalism is killing our spirits.
Yeah, Mark Russell, capitalism's bad. I get it. Fuck you. You're not.
Why not just give the comic book away? That's the only way anybody's going to read it besides us. This was not the worst week ever. Fantastic Four Reckoning War Alpha, shockingly much better than I anticipated. Not nearly as bad as Empire. It was perfectly not terrible. One-Star Squadron, I would put it the very bad category. I'd give this with like a 1 star. I think this is a very bad comic book.
I will give it a half star. It's marginally better than, well, Wolverine.
Speaking of Wolverine, in 10 Lives of Wolverine that we reviewed yesterday, it would have been on this list if it weren't in This Week in X-Men. You got to check this out. You will not believe what they've made Wolverine do in this comic book. He is basically the bitch spoon. I'm not joking.